Oh, and just so you know, Chris, there's a little 18-second intro, so we've got 18 seconds, and we start.
Okay.
But people can hear this.
Nice.
Especially if you get the MP3 version, which most people do. You don't even get the intro. You just hear this 18 seconds of people talking, and you never know why.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I never really thought about it, but what do you expect? I'm just a guy running a YouTube show. Anyway,
18 seconds. People
just like,
oh yeah, we're past 30 seconds now. So
after exactly 18 seconds, we're just like, oh fuck, the show's on.
It's already started. The show is already over. I got to restart. No, it's welcome to the CrunchCast. This is the CrunchCast number 31. I'm Chris Holden. One of our regulars here, John Jones, is here, and we have a new guest, an animator of ancient times, Chris Johnson. No, I'm from the same time. We're grizzled veterans.
Yes,
because you
old men.
You said you got your first job.
Crippled veterans?
Yeah, we're crippled veterans. No, grizzled.
Give me grizzled and crippled. Let's face it.
Basically, we're crippled.
Grizzled
by
or
life. So yeah, this is Chris Johnson, a professional animator / probably look, you started in 1997, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody that knows back then, companies were mostly smaller. You took on a lot of roles, and
right.
So and with your level of experience, you can just handle whatever role is kind of thrown at you at this point.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe you're gonna run the company for a week.
Oh damn! Oh well.
So I've actually known both of you guys almost the same amount of time, since like 96 or 97.
Absolutely, yeah. Because me and John started hanging out in the Quake modding days, and I'm guessing.
Well, when I was, let's say, 98, when I was at 3D Realms, I started getting emails from this random kid asking. Which was kind of...
All right, all that just broke up for me.
Oh, fantastic.
Are you hearing the same thing I'm hearing, John?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what happened to Chris Johnson there is everything he said cut out. So basically, yeah, we just heard a pop up beep, and that was pretty much it.
Awesome.
Okay, I think you're back now, so you can go ahead and say everything you said again. No, it was just when you were talking about you were working at 3D Realms and you started getting emails from this kid, and that's when it shot.
From some random stuff from some...
It did it again.
Damn it. Internet connection.
Stop all the torrenting, bro.
Fucking Chicago.
Dude, Chris Johnson, that was so fucking funny. It's like, you're perfectly clear. It's like, so back in 1997 when it
the timing couldn't have been worse / better. Oh, he's doing it again. Oh no.
Oh, son of a bitch.
See, now
do you
it's
have
clear.
anything bandwidthy?
No, I've got nothing going.
Maybe it'll just clear up here in a second. Sometimes it just does that. You know what you might want to try is disconnecting from the Hangout and reconnecting.
Okay, hang on.
Because sometimes, I don't know. As you know,
okay,
folks,
let's go and try disconnecting.
Yeah.
God, I'm glad that asshole's gone.
Yeah. Out of here.
Damn it.
I need to re-invite him, right?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. So no,
I meant for him to hear that whole thing, and the fact that he went away when I said that makes it sound meaner when I was just trying to be mean to his face.
Yeah, we do that joke almost every episode because it's very common. It's the internet, folks. People cut out. Yeah, so...
They don't always do it as musically as Chris just did. That was so cool.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It was like a much better produced version of a modem handshake.
Modem handshake. It was pretty perfect, I gotta say. There he is.
Hey.
Hello.
All right, just go right into it, fast as possible.
Okay. So in '98, I was working at 3D Realms, and I started getting emails from John, actually, asking me about modeling and all sorts of crap for games and stuff. So kind of have kept that up since then.
I think I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, this was 3D Realms after Duke Nukem. So this is when Duke Forever was in development?
This was the first 2 years of Duke Nukem Forever development.
Oh, wow. So there's definitely...
Prey was still in-house.
Oh, yeah, good old Prey. Wow, Prey. That was in there for a while, then jumped out and went to the Doom 3 engine. And
yeah, well, it's just stopped being even developed for years until Human had picked it up again.
I remember that. It was basically, it kind of looked like Quake, but it had Portal technology, and that was the big thing they kept talking about, but it didn't make any sense to anyone. It just...
Right, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, wow. Old Prey. How long were you at 3D Realms?
I was there from 98 through 99. So
That's
2
not
years.
too long. Well, you did the right thing. Dude, don't you feel bad for those guys that were there for such a long time, only just to do nothing?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I mean, just nothing. It was like Duke Nukem 3D was this amazing game, this revolutionary PC game, and then boom, just decades of nothing. Just it's unfortunate for those poor guys.
Is that I think it's the title of the the background bio of the game's development.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're getting paid to do what you want to do, then that's cool. But it's just so much of your life is your resume is pretty much like nothing.
Oh yeah,
because nothing ever shipped.
The guys that were there for 8, 9, 10 years working on it, I'm just like, I'm sorry.
And it's unfortunate, but hey, this is what happens. This is the industry. I've worked on games for 5 years and been like, damn, I could have went to some studio that craps them out quick, padded my resume up nice. Here I am, all loyal.
God damn it.
Yeah,
so you weren't there,
asshole.
You weren't there for very long. So where'd you end up going after that?
So after that, I ended up at Surreal for 7 years up in Seattle.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So that's pretty loyal. But they were stable and making some pretty dope games for a while there.
They were stable, and then Midway bought them, and then they stopped being stable basically. So
it sounds about right.
Midway.
Yeah, they were a good. That's a good group.
So what was the what were you working on while you were there? I remember.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. Go ahead.
See, originally I did the second Draken title. That was a PS2 game, and then the Suffering 2. Did some other pickup work for Midway in there.
Suffering 3, Suffering or Son of Suffering.
Just so you know, your audio is fine, but your video. Oh wait, there it is. Your video locked up for a second there. I was just going to warn you, just in case it does crash out.
Okay.
But no, it's fine now. It's cool.
I blame Chicago.
That's cool. So that's where you are then. You're in Chicago?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I blame the entire city.
As a whole.
Yes. They were conspiring against me, and they filled me with hate.
What are you doing there when there's so many nicer, warmer places to be in the winter?
This is a question I've asked myself many
You're currently a freelancer. You could be anywhere right now. What, do you got a dog or a wife?
No. I mean, I'm doing school and getting my master's at the same time, so it's a little easier to do it that way.
It's a good move. Plus, I mean, there's still a surprising amount of development in Chicago. Like a lot of the studios seem to have kind of hung together a lot more than I think they would in a lot of other cities.
Yeah, there's a lot of smaller ones that are doing a lot of behind the scenes type stuff, especially. But there's some work for hire stuff here, and companies doing mobile, iOS, Android type stuff too. So,
and that shit can be lucrative.
It can be. There's a lot of money there, and there's also a lot of saturation. So you're either gonna, stick to the wall and make some loot, or disappear into oblivion.
Yeah, and it's but like the guys that I'm working with now, they did the Dark Meadow game on iOS stuff really well. And it was actually up for some award. And
I remember that. Yeah,
it was essentially a survival horror type thing, and they're doing some other stuff that can't really be talked about, but
sure.
it keeps them afloat very nicely.
Well, you're in animation. When it comes to ISO mobile development, What kind of animation are we talking about? Like kind of classic cartoon animation, or 3D meshes, or
No, this
everything
is 3D.
in between?
I mean, this is full 3D character stuff. So.
Oh, right on.
Full 3D, yo.
Full real-time, three-dimensional space movement with polygons, vertices, tracks.
Yes, both polygons and vertices.
Textures,
Yeah, I know.
maps, skins.
Getting
No,
all
I mean, it was. I
fancy.
mean, Dark Meadow was Unreal 3 powered and all of that. So I mean, it wasn't a slouch by any
Yeah,
stretch.
so I was just about to say, no slouch.
It's no slouch.
What did you
John-
when did you transition into freelance? Well, or should I just redirect the question? What happened after Surreal? Since you were there for such a long time.
I was there at Surreal. They went through a round of layoffs. I ended up going down to Austin for 3 years, which I did some freelance, and then I did some on-site work where I was working for companies and stuff. None of that would really panned out because Austin is such a stable market. And then
Austin is a slouch.
and then after that,
Sorry,
I was
Austin.
taking a. I have to apologize to Paul City now. After that, I ended up coming up to Chicago, and I worked with the company that shall not be named for a couple of years, and they went through a massive layoff, like a huge chunk of people all at once. And then I just said, "Screw it! I'm just going to do the freelance route for now and see what happens." And that's where I've been for the past year and a half, I guess.
So you're surviving.
Yeah, you know.
Was it you're just living off severance, or you're actually getting work?
No. I'm actually working. I mean, yeah. That's
Because I'll tell you what, it is awesome when you get a nice severance package from a layoff. That's the only benefit.
Yeah, that wasn't anything we had to worry about.
Oof.
Oh,
But no, I've been getting some work. I did about 6 months with NetherRealms, a lot of the stuff on Mortal Kombat.
God bless.
You had fatalities.
Oh, that's
Well, I
right.
did.
This is something that
Couldn't
I
even
wanted to talk about that at some point. So, besides working at, well, I don't know. Just going straight to it, a lot of the fatality animations for the new, what is the actual game? It's just called Mortal Kombat, or is
Yeah, it's just Mortal Kombat.
Just Mortal Kombat.
Technically, it's Mortal Kombat 9, I
yeah,
believe.
but it's kind of like they're rebooting it in the sense that they didn't give it a number or like a name. It's just
Right.
straight Mortal Kombat, and
Yeah.
that game got crazy popular at work here at Alphonic because the guys even bought these gigantic joysticks, like legit Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
arcade joysticks, 2 of them. And
I
they
remember
just
I was
played
playing on that
Yeah, they played
terribly.
those things constantly. Very popular at the office.
Yeah, essentially they retold the entire plot lines from 1, 2, and 3 as if the entire thing was a flashback and basically allowed them to reboot the fiction of it, but still be loyal to the fiction as well. It's kind of a cool idea. So
And I remember as a youngster, when Mortal Kombat originally came out in the arcade, that game was like scary.
oh yeah,
It was fucking scary. I was like, oh, jeez, look at that music. The music is still badass to today. And then those people ripping each other apart. I was like, oh my god, there's blood, and they look like they're pictures of people, so it looks real. I mean, if you got into
Torsos would
games,
explode and like 7 rib cages would come
right.
out. You're
If
like,
you got
"Oh my
into
God."
games, more recently, you're like, oh, well, it looks like pixels and stuff. But back in the day, that was one of the highest, like most realistic fighting games
Or
ever.
the barbells of blood.
Yeah.
Holy
I remember-
shit, tomatoes exploding out of him.
It's like like took standard video game conventions and turned them on their head, sort of literally. It's just like, when I kick something to death, why do hamburgers fall out? It's like, when I kick something to death, why do 100 rib cages fall out?
Well, they also kind of gave it a soul too, of all those weird little things that some people would consider bugs or like little
Hang on,
dev
my
things.
cat got trapped in a cabinet.
It's always
Nice.
a wild time with John Jones here.
John Jones, Wild Kingdom.
Yeah, we could do that show. That could be the new YouTube show. Man.
Well, either that or him just weird shit.
I feel like audio, for some reason, is getting really low and then coming back up. I've been adjusting it, but for some reason it levels back down when John talks, because he's got a good audio. I don't know. Maybe I'm too far from the mic.
But say also, he sits like right on top of it, so he looks like he's swallowing the microphone.
What?
That.
Exactly.
All right. Stupid cat.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. We got to work on Mortal Kombat, doing animations, making fatalities. That's a pretty big project.
Yeah, it was. It was
a good one to have on
one of those projects that I was actually really, even though I was on there as a contractor, as kind of a mercenary, it was really, really cool to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Weren't you the lead of chicks getting torn in half?
Yes, that was my entire job title.
Chicks getting torn in half. I'm not animating.
I was about to say something a lot worse.
Yeah, that was a mighty fine job of self-editing right there.
Occasionally, I have class.
Yeah.
Occasionally. I'm gonna adjust my mic real quick, so you can keep talking.
So my cat did not actually get trapped in the cabinet. She has this game where she'll run to the other room, make this loud and mournful sound, and act as though like she's in trouble or trapped or something. She just wants me to call her name, so she'll think that I want her, that I want her to pet. So I'll also like yell her name, and she'll run in and be like, "Oh hi, here I am for pets." It's really annoying, and
that sounds like
except
a cat.
for when it's like 3 a.m.
One of the best parts of cat ownership is that nice early morning alarm you're gonna get. I've never had a cat that did not, when I was asleep, crawl onto my face and just start pawing my face around 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Either for me to let it out to pee or giving me food or something. It's just the pussycat alarm. You always wake up early.
Yeah, dude, I have like 3. I've been woken up by cats in the worst ways. One time I woke up to my cat spitting in my mouth. She's leaning over me, and I guess I was snoring or something, and I woke up to her like drooling or spitting directly into my open mouth.
Gross.
I'm pretty sure that's hate.
Another time, a different cat she was trying to get me to pet her, and I didn't want her because I was trying to sleep. So I fell back asleep, and then I felt something rubbing up against my forehead, and I'm just sort of trying to shoo her away without closing my eye or opening my eyes. My girlfriend picked her up and said, "She's rubbing her ass into your forehead." I'm like, she's rubbing so hard. She's like bracing her front paws and just wiping her little asshole in the middle of my forehead to wake me up because I wouldn't pet her. It's like 6 a.m.
Sounds like a cat.
Like that one comic, just like, dog bites you, gets put to sleep, cat bites you, LOL, just being a cat.
Just being a cat.
There's a reason I like dogs.
Well, you can always tell a cat owner because their forearms and hands are just scratched to bejesus.
I'm just covered in cat fur all the time.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I used to work with a guy that would always come to work just looked like a cat exploded on him. Because he was a dirty guy to begin with. As you know, if you work on games, there's a lot of dirty guys. You're gonna.
Oh dear God.
Oh, wow. So you obviously know some people. You've been around plenty of companies, so you know. But this was just one of those guys. You put on a sweatshirt that was, right out of the laundry clean, just covered in cat hair. I'm sure he threw it on the floor and the cat slept on it. And he was like, "Fuck it," and just tossed it on.
Oh yeah.
He's the kind of guy that would trim his beard with clippers after he got dressed.
Nice.
And not consider the fact that he might just be covered in his own hair.
That's thinking it through.
I'd say, dude, what happened? Like I thought something was wrong.
It's like
there's so much hair. I was like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh damn." He didn't even know. It's like, wow, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, but at least he went home and like would change clothes. You know, this is
this
not
guy?
like the
Nah,
programmer.
this guy
that I
just
would
was
know
like
that
whatever. Oh, the programmer that would keep like burgers in his drawer and then. Is this the guy?
They were on sale. I just kept 5 of them. I'll just snack on them later.
Yeah. Okay, so you know.
Well, they are the one that would not go home for 7 or 8 days, and you go into the bathroom and find him washing out his socks in the sink. And you're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
At least he's, I think I've been lucky never to have worked with anyone like that. Like the most disgusting person I think I ever worked with got yelled at once for reheating bacon in the kosher microwave. I swear that's actually a
you
thing.
had a kosher microwave. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually got in trouble for that.
Oh man. Back at Mythic, they had this kitchen area. It was the layout of the building. You went into it, like half the building. It was cut in half by the elevator, basically. And
Okay.
the bottom half, which basically had like the art pit and some QA and content at this point in time, because if you worked at Mythic, it was musical chairs. Like every month or so, you would move seats because they wasted a lot of time with shit like that. Anyway, like it was somebody's job title because they just they were a good company, they were a family company. They didn't want to fire people, so that just meant if you didn't have any abilities, they would just put you in some sort of weird position. So I think one guy had this position. His position at the company was just tell people where to sit and then go away. Just leave us alone.
It's like the Walmart greeter of the company.
Yeah. Welcome to
Nice.
Costco. I love you. Anyway, it was like this art pit with content and, like I said, whatever. This whole group of people, and then right in the middle of this room, above all the cubicles, was the not recreation area, like a kitchen, vending machines and whatnot. Most of the time, no matter what, if somebody cooked food, it didn't really bother anyone. You didn't smell it or anything. But they had like warning signs: do not cook popcorn.
Oh God.
Because if you ever
Yeah.
pop popcorn, it just smells so much. It's a good smell. I love the smell of popcorn. But the problem is, it's a good smell. And everybody's like, oh, I need popcorn now because I smell it. And that would just ruin everyone's day. But this was the kind of guy. This guy would like cook garlic bread
Nice.
Oh God.
in the oven. Like full on legit garlic bread. As in he knows how to cook garlic bread. So the whole place would just reek of garlic. And like garlic bread is delicious and awesome, and I love garlic bread. But when you're just sitting at work trying to paint textures, and all of a sudden the entire world around you is absorbed in the smell of garlic, you're just fucked. That's it. Your brain shuts off. All you can do is focus on the smell of garlic. And you should dock him 10% of his paycheck for that.
Oh God. There was one that when I was at Surreal, there was this guy who, like, he had brought tuna or something, and
Tuna.
bowl.
Tuna is
They
a
took it-
great source of protein, one of the best things you can eat, but don't eat it around anyone.
Oh no, this has nothing to do with day of.
Here we go.
Then the Tupperware, taken it back to his desk, and had left the Tupperware there. 3 weeks later, the art director comes by, and like before he gets there, puts a note on it, and it's just this: "Clean your damn dishes." LOL, LOL, LOL. It's
Lol.
blah blah. So Craig, for his name was Craig, comes in and sees it. Like, okay, I'll go wash it.
And you can follow him at... No, just kidding.
He wanders into the kitchen, opens it up, immediately starts gassing the office. And we have to realize we had the entire floor of this building pretty much. And he like starts going, holy crap. So he does what anyone intelligent would do, and that is to start flushing it with hot water, which just made the smell go worse. And for people who had their desks right by the kitchen, there was much gagging and retching to be heard, and all this other stuff, and it's spreading to the office. But then, this fantastic smell of 3-week-old rotten tuna hit the air conditioning vents and went up to the third and down to the first floors. And somebody on one of those floors actually either pulled a fire alarm or called the fire department. Because the next thing we know, the entire building is being evacuated.
Holy shit.
We're all outside for a couple of hours at the coffee shop. Two of the girls walk up to the local grocery store, come back with a big bottle of Lysol and hand it to Craig, and we're just like, clean your shit. And the rest of us were like, we got the afternoon off. Let's have some coffee. You know, it was. And by
like, coffee, you mean beer?
Yes. Yes, I do. But yeah, no, it was, the whole thing was just ridiculous. And like, there were people that were like, you know, their hair was falling out later on in the day because of the stench. And yeah, it was a great time, really.
Dude, I was that guy once.
Used to be a dirty boy, John.
You were like that last week.
Did I tell you about the squid and ink story?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you talked about it on the show or not, but it doesn't. You know, this is one of those kind of stories that you could tell again because look, we're 30 deep. Not everybody's seen all these. True.
Well, so back when I was working at 2K Games, it was just 11 people in a small office, and I was in an eating weird food phase. So I decided to pack my own lunch that day. I'd been to a Chinese grocery and picked up small cans of squid in ink. So I didn't know what the hell I'd do with it, really. I just brought it into work one day and thought it sounded pretty good. So for lunch, I opened the can of squid, poured it into a little paper bowl, and put it in the microwave, not really thinking. And when I say squid in ink, it's not squid bits. It is just one squid chopped in half to fit into the little can, filled with its own natural ink.
Oh, dear God.
So I microwaved it, and by people's gagging, I could tell how it was spreading across the office at a steady rate. Somebody just outside the kitchen said, "What's that smell?" Next desk, "What smell?" I've got it too. Further across the office, "What are you talking? Oh, Jesus, what is that?" And then finally, like, people are actually gagging and retching and looking in the kitchen, going, "What the fuck are you doing? What's in there?" And I'm like, "Squid and ink." Everybody just pauses for a couple seconds, then go, "John, what the living fuck are you doing?" So they actually had to evacuate the office for the entire day. I had to. It was only me and one other guy that stayed there. That guy was on a 10-day fast, and he actually thought it smelled good. And I tried, but my second mistake was trying to cover up the smell by microwaving broccoli, which I didn't realize.
No way, dude.
So I had to, so I aired out the entire building, or like the entire office. I ended up going outside on the patio and eating it. I actually ate the squid. It tasted really good. We're on the second floor balcony, so I wasn't going to drink the ink, so I just spilled it off the second floor. And then I went outside the building and threw away my garbage in like a dumpster a block away. Well, lo and behold, the very next day, a turkey vulture with a 5.5-foot wingspan shows up on our balcony, facing my desk, which is right by the window, with its wings spread out for like 15 minutes, just sitting there staring. And it came back almost like 3 or 4 times a week for the entire life of the studio, for like the next 8 months.
The entire life of the studio. So a week later.
Yeah, it kept coming back. I was like, that vulture's like, please give us food.
Eventually, another turkey vulture showed up because what I ate smelled like carrion, and it did not go away. So it kept coming by and taking gigantic dumps all over little furniture out there. And just, yeah, we gave them nicknames. They were the
Hansel and Gretel?
No, it was actually funnier. So we'd come from a company. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say it. I really shouldn't. But they were very funny nicknames. But okay, I'd actually, when I biked into work, I would see that one of those turkey vultures actually following me. I fucking shit you not. I'd look up and I'd see it like tracking like above me all the way into work, and they would land right after I got off, or after I got
just
there.
Ask a crow someday.
There's the guy that eats the shit. Let's follow him.
Yeah, so I summoned a fucking vulture that didn't go away.
You may be some kind of necromancer. Too much D&D, bro.
Dude, you have no idea how often I get that.
Is that the is that the turkey vulture that I did the picture of?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, so I took a picture of the vulture, like all dramatic with the afternoon light above it.
It's looking in the window and its wings are out and everything else. And John sends me this picture, and so I go over to the Lolcat, the cheeseburger site, and do a thing real quick. And the caption was, "Oh, you're a game studio in Austin? I can wait." Let's get it back to John, and John's like, "Oh God, this is sad because this is the Austin game."
Then 8 months later,
yep,
studio shut down. I blame you.
Yeah, well.
No, actually, there's a very specific person I blame.
Yeah, for those that don't get it, the joke there was the vulture was waiting for the studio to die. Because, as most of you know, most studios don't really last over a year or two. Yeah, I said earlier, but try not to use that chat so much because it bothers people. They hear that, they hear all these dings and they think their own chat programs are. Oh, I gotta check my message. What?
I promise I won't do that again. But that needed to be said, but not out loud.
No, fair enough. You see, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things. You know, when people say, "Wait a minute, I better not say so-and-so's name or blank company." We have our behind-the-scenes where we say so-and-so's name and blank company, yes. And we just bury everybody. If you ever listen to this show and you ever wonder, I wonder if he's talking about me. Yeah, you're currently just being buried. All we do on the show is we secretly just bury everyone that we can.
If you guys could
throw them under the bus.
CrunchCast, we only send our friends.
Mm-hmm. We throw them under the bus, and we're like, "Fuck that guy."
Yes.
And it's not that at all. But we like to have a good time here.
But you know, I want to. Life has got to be really difficult for the actual dude whose name is so and so name, and the hardworking studio blank studio. They must get the most shit in the world.
I see what you're trying to do there, and that works. It works for me. I like it. That's my kind of joke. Thank you. So, Christopher.
Yes?
You've been doing freelance for a year or so. How is surviving as a freelancer for you? Because I think that's something people are interested in. Because there's this. Jesus Christ!
Good God!
Sorry.
Inhale a bus earlier.
Just a quick deviation from that topic. John just got off the boat from Germany. He spent the weekend out there, doing his thing. I don't want to. We can't really talk about what he was doing there because he was interviewing for a specific company. He can't put any names out there and blah blah blah. But
no, it wasn't interviewing. It was more of a biz thing. It was weird.
Yeah.
But just really short trip.
It was
20 hours travel there for barely 48 hours and another 20 hours travel back.
Well, I think there's a benefit.
Night, I'm still jet lagged.
I think there's a benefit to coming back sooner. Just because your body doesn't get adjusted to that weird time. You just come right back and then you can come back quicker. Whereas I've flown out to Germany once and we were there for over a week. So once you got there, the first few days you're kind of fine with the jet lag. It sucks, but about day 3 or 4, I was just destroyed. Like I was ready to go to sleep at 3 p.m. every day. Like I couldn't get regular, and I was there for so long that I actually become regulated, and then had to come back to the States.
Oh.
And then I was just like, I'm a zombie for a week. It's weird. It's a weird feeling what that does. Anyway, let's talk about your sweet trip.
When I went to Shanghai for 9 days.
Oh, this one.
And came back. I slept like 2 or 3 hours a night for a month. It was awful.
So, what'd you get to do there in Germany? Anything fun besides beer? The beer is great.
I enjoyed the beer. I only had 1 day free. The rest was all meetings. I basically just so I landed on a Sunday. It is the coldest winter Europe has had in decades. It was, I think, 15 below 0 Celsius.
Hey, just for fun, just for facts, just for trivia, what airports did you go through? Obviously, you flew out of Austin, right?
Austin to Dallas Fort Worth to the Frankfurt airport, which sucks.
Oh wow, from Dallas to Frankfurt, that is a long flight.
It was 9.5 hours there, 12 hours back.
No, that's not so bad. That's not like going to Australia or something. What is that, like 72 hours?
Give or take.
No, I think it actually is around 20, but I'm not sure. I've never actually flown there, but I'd like to. It'd be cool.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Go down there and get a knife and kill a croc. That'd be sweet.
I just want to slit a wallaby's throat. Have you ever looked at one? Those smug fuckers.
Those monsters. They're
terrible.
What would actually be pretty sweet.
Oh, look at me! I'm a wallaby.
The west coast of Australia. I forget the name of the river, but it's the river that has the sawfish. The fish that have the bill that comes straight out and has all the teeth. It would just be neat to see that.
The fish with the teeth.
Whoa! Can you believe this fish has got teeth? I don't know what that accent is. I'll stop doing it.
That's a beauty.
And that is an accurate and perfect Australian accent. So, would you like to finish anything up about the little Germany story there? Like I said, beer is really good there. I really like the food. The food there that I had was amazing. Great. I have a cousin that he went there and he didn't like the food, but
Your cousin is stupid.
Well, he's a different kind of guy, like a Native American background. So
yeah,
different cultural tastes.
Yeah, some people don't really want to get out and try all that stuff. Like I ended up just wandering around randomly. It was Sunday, coldest winter Europe has had in many, many years. It was Sunday, so everything was closed. So I just wandered around, took a few pictures, and stopped by a couple pubs. It was the only ones I found, like in walking distance in my area, were like either really foofy high-end bars, where I'd be paying God knows how many euros for a drink, or just like a British pub or an Irish pub. I didn't have much time. I didn't really want to fuck around, so I just did those. Plus, I wanted to hang out with some expats and that whole thing. But I got to try this amazing marinated cheese, which I guess is a big Frankfurt thing. It's just sort of a relatively soft, kind of flaky cheese that had been marinating in olive oil and fresh diced onions, so fresh they made my eyes water, and then a bunch of herbs and seasonings. The German name for it is cheese that brings music.
What?
It means farts.
Yeah,
it brings farts.
That's what I figured.
Well, it was just linked to me by Chris Johnson, some photos from the deep freeze spreads across Europe, which happened while the winter while you were there.
Yeah. That first picture is awesome.
Interestingly enough, that
kid's
same
gonna die.
Yeah, when the kid's getting mauled by a dog a few pictures down.
I love the two dogs running over the kid who was sledding down the block.
Being mauled. What I was going to say is, interestingly enough, that you were there that weekend. They have a deep freeze in Europe. In Denver, we had like the same thing out here. We had a blizzard basically Friday. It was
really
pretty awesome. I mean, it didn't, like I said, out here it doesn't really stop anything. It's just like, oh look, here's a lot of snow. That's annoying. But
you guys are used to it.
Yeah, I was still biking. I walked home Friday night. It was like the night of the blizzard. No big deal. 3 miles. What are you gonna do?
See,
I was raised in the mountains.
As opposed to that picture that Chris Johnson posted, like in England, apparently, summons pit bulls that kill men on sleds. Denver's really chill about snow.
They're not killing them. They're like they're running him over with love.
Chris, remember?
That's an awesome picture. I love that picture.
Chris, my favorite caption, my favorite caption you ever gave any picture, either was sent back and forth was I think it was like 30 seconds of a puppy playing with ducks. Do you remember this?
I might remember the video, but
Your comment was 4 days filming a puppy killing a duck, and this is the only footage they had and making them look like friends.
Oh.
Well, that's what it's really like. Look, the first thing, and look, it's like you get a cat. What is the first thing a cat is going to do, if anything? It is just going to kill it, because a cat is the perfect killing machine. So every time you see one of these pictures where it's like, oh, here's a cat and a duck, and it looks like they're friendly, and he's always got his paw around it. Well, you know what's happening 1 second later? He's biting down its throat, and it's dying instantly.
Dude, I read a
get another duck.
Where,
We gotta get
on
more
average,
pictures.
So let's say you're a pet owner. If you're a dog owner and you die, your dog will wait 5 days to eat you, possibly up to 7 for sustenance. A cat will wait 2 days.
Yeah, well, I've heard a lot of stories about where like an old lady dies and her dogs just ate her face.
Yeah, but they wait longer than a cat would.
Yeah, they wait a little bit. They're like, well...
Yeah, the cat's
dead
like,
and-
well, you've stopped twitching.
Oh, yeah. Like you said earlier. You know,
Like
a
I
dog...
pushed my bowl as far toward you as possible. This is really your fault.
Yeah. It was like you were saying earlier, if a dog bites somebody, you put it down. If a cat bites somebody, oh, I'm just a cat. LOL. It's a
Meanwhile,
meme.
the dog's like, I miss my master. I miss him. Oh God, I miss him. The cat's like, I'm tuna free, bitch. I'm eating your face. You know, it's just not right.
Yeah.
I've always wanted long pig.
It's a good thing we made this episode about cats, because the internet loves cats. I predict this to be the best episode we've ever done. It's gonna get the most views. It's gonna get the most hits.
Just disgusting kitchen stories and cats.
And I'll tell you what, I think I'm gonna bring Chris Johnson back for pretty much every episode as my Andy Richter, because you have an infectious laugh. I mean, you've got it going on over there. You get into these jokes. I feel like you know this is a good outlet for you to laugh.
I don't know if it's a positive or a negative. Really,
No, that's cool, man. It's a good time. We need a good guy who can just come out and just laugh hard. Our Bert Kreischer, our Andy Richter, yeah, our Ed McMahon. I'm drunk.
Chris does say that.
I'm ripped.
Yeah. No, I don't know what you're drinking over there. It might be apple juice. It might be urine, but it's probably beer.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Which-
John drinks beer from a boot.
I do drink beer from a boot. By the way, random fun fact. Both of you are named Chris, but they're your middle names, not your first names.
Oh, wow. What's your first name, bro?
Charles.
Charles. Whoa.
Yes.
That's kingly. You know what?
Yeah.
Mine's kingly, too. It's Richard.
Ooh, there you go.
But imagine if you were Richard, because your name would be Dick Johnson. So you'd be like 2 penises. I mean,
Fun
my
fact,
last name's
there is
Holden.
There is a
So-
Chicago newscaster named Dick Johnson.
It's a good name.
And Holden, your name is Dick Holden.
Holden
Oh, there
Dick
you go.
Junior. Dick Junior. Because I am the second. Well, I'm proud to let everybody know. It wasn't something people go, oh, people probably made fun of you in school. Now here's the thing about public school: people are too stupid to make a smart enough assumption that Dick is short for Richard. And that was the story of my life. No one ever knew all through school. I had one friend that ended up
Aw.
just
Oh,
one
oh.
in my whole life. No, I have one friend that figured it out. Even though I was a friend of him since kindergarten, we were best friends, like hanging out at each other's house and playing and shit. It wasn't until junior high he figured out the whole Richard thing, and he ended up leaving school at 7th grade to go be a doctor because he was so smart. Nobody
You would just call
else.
Doogie Howser?
Yes.
Hey,
Nobody else
know-
through all of high school or anything ever figured out Richard is Dick. So I
know,
was
being-
fine.
being book smart does not mean you're smart enough to find your way home from the mailbox. That's all
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
Now this guy was one of those dudes that happened to be like super lucky all around. He had like genetics. He was giant. Nobody ever fucked with him. Anybody fucked with him, he would maul them. But he was also a straight A student. He's like super smart guy. He's like a guy that just got big dude genetics and. What the hell was that?
I'm sorry, that was my crotch.
Nice.
Chris failed to mention his friend went to be a doctor in a Colombian cartel.
Yeah, he kills people like, and then fixes them, and they're fine.
So
You can kill him again.
Yeah,
sews
it's
their tongue
ironic.
right back into their neck.
Exactly what he does. But no, he just got the good pass. What I'm saying is, everybody else was too stupid to figure that shit out. So, the whole point of that joke, that whole Dick and Richard stuff, it doesn't. I love it because I never got it ever. Anyway, moving on.
People would make fun of my name for being a toilet.
Well, you get more problems because John Jones is the UFC champion.
Yeah. That magnificent, talented asshole.
And let me just say, you're a pussy, and Rashad is gonna kick your ass in Atlanta.
Oh, believe me, Twitter lets me know.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love the one that you got that you were like, I can't even decipher what this person is telling me about this shit.
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. I replied, no two words you spoke make sense together. Just, I can't, yeah.
There's a good chance that English wasn't this person's first language. You know, the UFC is huge all over the world.
Oh, I can tell when well, it's either the U.S. or Brazil.
Brazil's huge.
Like, that's it.
And just so people know, on Twitter, John Jones is at John Jones because John has been affiliated with the game industry for a very long time, and he specifically excels in social media, outsourcing, and the whole concept of being online. So he's branded himself online for many, many years before John Jones even did professional mixed martial arts.
Before he punched his first baby.
Yes. But unfortunately, this guy with the exact same name became an amazing superstar that's exciting to watch. And if you've never watched him fight, boy, it is a sight to see.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he mauls people. It was these weird situations where you flew out here to Denver and we went to UFC to watch John Jones fight against Rampage. So it was an interesting situation where, oh look, John Jones is watching John Jones.
And dude, hearing a stadium full of however many tens of thousands of people were there chanting my name.
It was so weird.
It's like, that's so weird, but feels so right.
Yeah. For me,
Then
when
he
I hear
ran
that
into
name,
the octagon and,
yeah.
you know, he didn't remember anything for the next week, but, you know, hey.
like I've known John since I was like 17 or something. So to me, it's like weird to
It was
hear
a very good year.
somebody else knows his name and like somebody else famous has the same name as you after I knew you. It's like a weird thing. I don't know how to explain what that feels like.
Yep. I've been shipping games since before that guy's balls dropped.
Oh.
First.
Hey, look, if you're first, be sure to like this video on YouTube or Vimeo or just in your mind, because that's the best place. Look at Johnson. He is freaking the fuck out. Hey, you want to get back to old Johnson? Look, check this out.
Yes, I'm going to beer. Let's focus on Johnson.
Wait a minute.
Or, well, yeah.
Focus on Johnson. You need to point the camera down instead of up.
Well, I'm not wearing pants.
Oh, cool.
Well,
You're pulling a Sosa. He's Jesse Sosa right now. That guy never wears pants. Every time you've seen him on the CrunchCast, he's never been wearing pants. But no, what we're talking about right before we just completely got diverted and filled a lot of space with what the guys. There's a lot of guys out there that they like the technical shit. They like people saying, "Oh, here's what I did when I worked here, and I'm doing this now, and this is the way I live my life, and these are my philosophies because it gets me through the day." But when we're just, hey, dumb, stupid crap about shit, there's some guys that really hate that, but there's other viewers, and more often than not, they seem to like that, and that's cool. So let's get back to the technical stuff. What we were talking about before we got crazy diverted was me asking Christopher Johnson about his life as a freelance artist and surviving as a freelance artist. We've talked about it a little bit before, but I'd like you to just kind of go into it. Would you say there's some things that you change about your life that are different from working in an office, besides the whole I wake up at this time, going in, and additionally maintaining sanity while sitting in a room by yourself, like getting out and really, one of the big things about working in a studio is you've got people there to at least interact with. But when you're freelance, and I've had this problem myself, you're just there by yourself.
Well, the cool thing about what I've been doing freelancing here is being local and everything is that, like when I was with Nether Realms and the work that I've been doing with Phosphor, this is my second gig with them, I've been on site most of the time. So I'm still in the office, so that kind of helps the sanity part of it.
Okay, so you're actually going into the studio.
Yeah.
That always helps.
Working on site,
that kind of contract work, yes.
Yeah. There was another one that I did that it was completely on site, but I would go in every once in a while just to see what the progress was on the project and all that good stuff. But those are the days that, there's a lot of taking breaks. There's a lot of going outside and,
sparking up
going
a cig.
somewhere else just to get the hell away.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that I found when I was doing freelance, I try to get out as much as I could, but there's just points where it's like, okay, you spent like a whole week really crunching hard on a project that you're doing freelance for, though.
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't see anybody but the television. And that can kind of really wear on somebody. There's a reason that solitary confinement is one of the most scariest punishments in prison.
Oh, yeah.
We're a social
it's hard
animal.
to be stuck in your own thoughts.
Yeah. You can get really crazy really fast, and if you're not ready for that's you gotta have friends. You gotta have people you can go to.
Right.
Stay local, bro. Just go out. If you're sitting there just doing freelance, not doing anything, just go to a bar and make a friend.
Yeah. No, there was
just
a lot
for
of,
one day.
There was a lot of getting out and seeing what else was out there and alcoholism and that sort of thing. So yeah,
that helps.
Did you just say alcoholism?
It's a crucial part of freelancing.
Alcoholism is part of the games industry. Let's face it.
Well, yeah, it's
true.
I actually stated this in a dev diary that's going to come out. I don't know. No, they probably didn't put that in. One of the points I made is that a lot of the younger guys you work with, they're not really prepared for the alcohol that's thrown at them from working in the industry. If you work with guys in the industry, there's a lot of guys that, like John or myself, we have high alcohol tolerances because we work in the game industry. Like John is like a beer connoisseur. So, as far as like drinking is concerned, he can just handle it. It's not a big deal for him just because of his love for beer. Not so much alcoholism, which is crippling him in his life. No, he's doing great. He's a functioning. That was a good one. I got to bring this guy back. He's coming back. Free invite to any episode. Just chill in the background and laugh at my jokes. I don't need a laugh track.
No, he's doing great.
He's doing great.
Really.
No. This is part of the humor that I try to inject in the show so that we can appeal to more than one person. We've got like two guys. We've got a guy that likes industry knowledge and a guy that likes jokes that are terrible. And that's my man right there. Yeah. If you like jokes that are terrible, subscribe on YouTube
to Brian McConnell.
To Brian and follow Brian _McConnell on Twitter. It's a full Y.
I'm kidding, Brian. I love you.
No, Brian's the best. He's not here tonight. He's probably working out hard. Or I just rolled out and he was like, I want to do the show tonight. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm sure he's doing great, right? I bet he's just bench pressing 1,000 pounds right now. Anyway,
well, I like thinking of him as like knitting a cozy for for his dumbbells.
Knitting a cozy. Look, he's not that much into working out. The real difficulty here is nutrition. If you don't get your nutrition right, you're all fucked. And John's nutrition is based on beer.
True. That is accurate.
So the point we're talking about here is, if you're a young guy and you're getting in the industry, you got to be careful with alcohol. If you're blacking out a lot, take a step back. If you're throwing up a lot, take a step back. Find out where you need to be. Find out what you need to mix, what you need to drink, what you need to say no to. Always stay composed. If you can stay composed,
Yeah.
you're doing everything right. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive.
Don't drink and text.
Don't drink and text. Yes, do not drink and text. I've got a buddy that he admits he is very open about this. He admits how much that he will get drunk and then start texting every ex that he ever had.
Oh, God.
Like bombing 20 text messages on an ex-girlfriend.
Wow.
And that's just, this is what happens. This is what happens. And this is why you need to take it easy. What you need to do is you need to be productive. You need to get drunk and paint. Get drunk and make some models. Get drunk and make a level. Get drunk and do some animations. Get drunk and do a podcast.
I get drunk and do a podcast, watch cartoons, or between beers 3 and 4, I think buying a motorcycle is a great idea. And then I shop.
Oh, yeah, it's a bad idea.
I know. After beer 4, I realized, that's just silly. But between those 2 beers, that's my buying a motorcycle is a great idea, Buzz.
Oh, yeah, motorcycles are cool, but when you start hanging out with guys that ride motorcycles, you start finding out, like, okay, 1 in 3 guys is, like, missing a leg. Or missing an arm.
You realize this suddenly after years of doing them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, I said within a couple years. And you start hearing all these stories about all these guys that died. Like, you hear more stories about guys that died than guys that were alive. And you're like, okay, motorcycles aren't really a problem. It's people in cars mauling dudes on motorcycles.
If you have friends that are motorcyclists, you'd be shocked to find that 1 in 3 of them are dead.
Yes. You would be shocked.
They just look really good. There's a reason we motorcyclists call them cagers, is because they're just rolling around in little cages from hitting people and shit. So,
well, it scares me when I see somebody get on a motorcycle without any sort of protective gear. Working across the street from a club, we've seen plenty of nights where, a few guys show up and they're on their little ninjas. They're what are those fast motorcycles called? They're the ones that are like, you lean into it, as opposed to like a chopper or a Harley where you sit back.
Just the sport bikes.
Yeah, like the sport bikes, those types of guys. And nothing against them, anything like that. But what I'm saying is, they go to the club, they pick up some girls, and the girls are just jumping on the bikes. And when the girls go to a club, girls are wearing panties and like maybe a dress, like something that covers a little bit of their body.
Sometimes it's just panties.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like knocking girls. I prefer, look, if you're a girl and you're going out, I say wear tennis shoes. Wear something you can run in, because you never know when a bear or a fire is going to break out. I don't think girls should wear
clubs.
Seriously. Like
a bear that's an arsonist.
Look, a bear shows up and you got to run out. You're wearing high heels, you're screwed. Because, you can't run in high heels, so you take them off, you got bare feet. And when you're barefoot and you're running, it's a bad situation. Don't worry about looking hot.
I'm just picturing a bear running down the street with a gas can and a book of matches. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
That is actually a little known fact. Yogi Bear and Smokey the Bear, same guy. Yogi the Bear is an arsonist, and Smokey the Bear is community service.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making. What a lot of people really don't know about the whole club industry is how often a bear will commit arson on all the fire exits, and as people run out, he mauls and eats them. This happens a lot. You can look it up, and you won't find any information on it because they cover this up.
The mainstream media.
Yeah, they won't cover it. It's really true. That's what bears do. Anyway,
or seen stream media.
the point is, you should wear comfortable shoes. You should dress right. And you see girls just hopping on the back of these bikes, these sport bikes, just wearing nothing. When they get on there, when they're bent over, it's just like the ass is hanging out. All you see is a thong. Like the dress does nothing at this point. Now here's what happens. Any sort of situations where he loses control, some car rams into that girl, she's dead. That's it. That is done. Forget about it. Stop sending messages. It freaks people out. It freaks them out. Look, there's this guy. He tweeted me. He said, "You guys got more episodes than us in 1 year, and we've done in 3." And
that's Ryan Duffin, a good buddy of mine.
They're good
drink
people.
with him whenever he's in town.
They're very good people, but they need to step up their game.
Oh.
They've been trying to get me on there since forever.
Yeah, if they're 3 years deep and can't even get John, what the fuck?
Like
I'm just
several
joking.
different
I'm
countries.
just joking. They're cool guys. But
Yeah,
they
awesome.
they said those bing, those dings, I can't control it. I can't figure out how to get this freaking program to shut off sound effects. Anyway, there's these guys that ride the motorcycles, and they have full armor on. They're like got these big pads, like full leather outfit that has like pads in the knees. So if they crash, they're only gonna die 90% of the time, as opposed to 100%. That shit scares the hell out of me, man.
Yeah, I still like the idea of riding a motorcycle, but I know I'd be one of the first people to die.
Exactly, dude. I think it's so cool, man, because you spend way less than gas in a car. It takes up a way less space. I think in other countries, like scooters and things are very common, right? And people were just.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
It was one of the things that actually not really surprised me, but I was excited to see when I went to Amsterdam. There were so many bicycles.
Hang on a sec.
There was. Bye. Have you ever been to Europe, Chris Johnson?
No, I have not.
There's so many bicycles over there. Like you'll see, in America, you see bike racks. There'll be like 1 or 2 bikes maybe here and
Right.
there. But in Europe, it's just like hundreds of bikes just lined up. I'm like, that is awesome. It changed my whole perspective. Like America has this big infatuation with the whole car culture, but it just doesn't make any sense. No, there shouldn't be. If you're one person getting in one car to go from wherever you are to wherever you're going, that shouldn't be happening.
No.
If you're one person going to one location, there should be some sort of mass transit that's constantly running. This stuff should be integrated. Like we could save so much money. And the whole concept of the red light system, where you just stop driving, you just sit there idling for up to 30 seconds, is one of the most broken systems. It's just destroying our world. It's burning energy for no reason. It's ridiculous. And that's my little rant.
Well,
John's back.
if you hate the world and the environment, I think it's pretty valid. Like when my car got stuck in a hailstorm, I just started, I drive everywhere I went in like first or second gear. I'd buy extra aerosols. Like I'd go jogging. But actually, no, fuck, jogging is a terrible idea. I should have stayed in my car and just been spraying aerosols out my window wherever I go.
Oh yeah. Well, here's what I like to do. I like to get in my I got one of those H2s, the Hummers, and what I do is I just idle it all day long and listen to the radio. That's all I do. I don't have.
Reminds me of a Human Giant sketch. Like Will Arnett has an H2 with a Prius shell. Makes it even less fuel efficient.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
The backseat big enough to give abortions in.
Look, it doesn't take a lot of space to get one of those. I'm just saying,
A narrow stairwell.
Yeah.
Really, all you need is enough room to, swing the punch. You're good.
Unless you go all Kill Bill on it. Just the... Wow, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you've ever said. So, what's it? I feel like we never really answered that question about living as a freelance. We went.
Here's
Here's what we did.
Is there a topic?
Here's what we did. We went into crazy because the point is, if you're sitting at your house all by yourself all day long, just doing art, you're gonna go bananas.
Yeah.
Because you get so introvertedly focused on doing your job and improving you've got nobody around you to say like, hey, knock you down a few pegs. Like being a kindergarten teacher. Ew, why do you smell? It's like kids will say all the darndest things. Kids will knock you down a peg.
That's true. That's why whenever, for at least for a little while, whenever I'd be freelancing in order to, get out of the house a bit and try and interact more with people, I'd hang out around schoolyards. That
well,
not a sustainable practice.
With his van that said free candy on the side. And...
Well, for me, the answer was just going out to clubs and just hanging out with friends that I trusted that also had a basis in reality. And on top of that, we had focus testing that was done by a junior high school. And those kids they ground you. Like kids will ground you. And they're like, hey, here's our game. Check it out. What do you think? This is stupid. I can't do drive-bys like in GTA. And it's like that's the kind of thing. It's like, well, he's right. Even though this game has nothing to do with any of this, he's right. We can't do drive-bys.
And you can't slap children openly in public like you used to.
Like you used to.
Sad realities.
Like hitting kids is wrong. And no one agrees with me.
You said that we're both just like...
Look, once you hit the age of 18, I think hitting you is okay. As long as you're not knocking people out, because that's dangerous. Concussions are bad for people. It's dangerous. You can, do some jujitsu. You can put them in the old... You can choke them out, give them the old rear naked. Put them the old Americana on there. A little bit of Anaconda Vice. Don't go for any of those heel hooks or knee bars.
If I'm having a bad day, I like being able to go out and finding small children and babies and just punching them to release stress.
Just punching kids.
But only the ugly ones, because they deserve it.
That's true.
So you're saying ugly kids deserve to be punched. So if you like what Chris Johnson's saying,
they would not be ugly if they hadn't earned that ugliness.
I'm fully behind you. But by the way, the Anaconda Vice sounds like something you strap on, unless like a takedown.
Oh yeah. It's you put it on and the thing happens.
and then you.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. You made me think of Norm.
Whoa. Oh yeah, Norm Macdonald's stand-up. What was that? Was there a name for that?
Doing stand-up.
Yeah, me doing stand-up. That was the name for it. Yeah, I don't want to spoil his bits or anything, but he does a very long point where he's like, where his description of a guy having sex is just a guy going, like basically his impression of Frankenstein is a good way of describing it. But if you like if you like what Norm Macdonald does, you would appreciate his stand-up, and I suggest it.
He was fun live. I caught him twice staring at my girlfriend's tits.
Yeah, hangs them out there. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny though. Like she totally caught him. God damn it, Cat! What are you doing?
John has cats, and they're fighting in his house right now as we speak.
They were.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, now you're acting all sweet. What the hell are you shredding?
What a pussy. So,
Wah, wah.
Financially describing how does one survive as a freelance artist? I know John's put some pretty strong words towards this because he's done it for so long. But Christopher Johnson, how do you do it? Is it the t-shirts?
Serious budgeting.
Yeah.
And also being scared to death of being homeless.
That's true.
Because, I mean, it's it's feast or famine. So I mean, it's like, you know, when the money's coming in, don't spend it like a idiot. And,
Yeah, you're like, oh, I got $20. I better buy a DVD.
Yeah.
I better buy a VHS cassette tape.
I'm gonna buy it on old 16 millimeter film and just hold
I better
it in
get a
front of
laser
flashlight.
disc of this movie. Yeah. I better get a movie prop from this movie.
Oh God. Oh, I know who you mean.
That's a Tracy reference. He talked about that, I'm pretty sure. If he didn't, well, he'll be back and he'll talk about it a lot.
I really feel like if they made a right hand of Doom for the left hand, he would have bought that too and used him as like, you know, like the big
like Hulk
punching.
hands, like fighting.
Yeah. Yes, I truly believe he would have done that if they did.
Oh yeah, man. That's like his way though. He loves to live life. We're probably all fucking up by saving money, to be honest. We're like, oh, I gotta save this money, and you know what? Oh, tomorrow, fucking a meteor hits. Oh, we're dead. Damn.
You know, actually, on that note, one of the most fun things I think I've ever done in my life was my last night in Frankfurt. I was at an Irish pub called Waxy's. Had the best chicken wings of my life. Met another expat, chatted for a while, then just started drinking beer and realized I have 48 euros left. And it's a pain in the ass getting it changed without like having to pay 10 to 15 euros or basically the equivalent of 10 or 15 bucks just to get changed back into US currency. So I decided that I was going to spend those 48 euros at that bar and spend every last fucking coin that I had and then go home. That's one of the most fun nights I think I've ever had.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be sometimes that you've got to let loose because, you know, especially if you're freelancing from home, you're already stuck inside your head all day. You need to get out and do something. But, you know, it's just a matter of being smart about it. You know, the freelancing thing, the problem is that you can only do one, maybe two jobs at a time. And some of them may be a few months long. Some of them may be just a few weeks long. And like what I ran into before, I had 3 months between the NetherRealms gig and the first Phosphor gig. So, you know, luckily I had enough to live on and pay rent and do all that crap. But you've got to, you know, you've got to live differently, and you know, you don't have insurance, you don't have, you know, just all these perks that you had when you're a full-time employee. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to, you know, the cliched argument of, do I go to the doctor or do I buy food, becomes a very tangible, real thing. And so, you know, you just have to pick your battles, I guess, financially.
It's weird the kind of horrible decisions you have to make. I mean, when I was first starting out, I mean, shit got dark. It's, you know, okay, so I really started to value certain things like, okay, rent, electricity, internet, utilities. Those are basically the first big four. Everything after that, if I need to, then I'll stop paying them as long as I need to, just to be able to get my bases covered and have food. As long as I have a roof over my head, you know, I just have to force myself to stop caring about, you know, getting angry phone calls from other bills or creditors or whatever the fuck. It took me a while to get out of that, but it's weird where your mind goes and how you really start to prioritize shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that because, you know, I've hit a couple of points where I was like, okay, what do I not need? Oh, okay, cable gone. You know, I'm not watching Archer this season, and I'm pissed about it. You know, I got rid of cable because it was an expenditure I don't need. You know, things like that. Just figuring out what the necessities versus the wants, and it's interesting how quickly you can come to that and figure out what is needed and what isn't, and that's how you survive on it. And you know, sometimes you hit the gig that I've got now, and the one that I had before, where you start being able to excess cash.
What do you do with excess cash? You just cut out for a second. You said you started a next gig and then you had excess cash? Or what?
Chicago!
Oh, yeah!
Can you hear us, dude?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just suddenly died. Everything froze up, so I wasn't sure. No, what I was saying was that with the last couple of gigs, I was able to make up a lot of excess cash, and you have to be smart enough to squirrel it away because you're going to have dry spells, especially.
Oh, God, yes.
Like the one before this, the one before the job I'm on now ended right at the beginning of November. And from about mid to late October through the holidays, nobody's hiring for shit. So you've got to find a way to get through that. And so
timing.
It's figuring it out, knowing how to budget it and that sort of thing.
Yep.
I've had that.
Anything signed after October is just damn near impossible.
I've had that same thing happen where I was laid off right around that start of Q4 and didn't get hired on until like you don't get hired on until around post Q1, like March. I've always told people that if what happens is there's that whole economic thing that when they started miseducating people in economics in college, which led to the downfall of the America, the U.S. of A's economic system that we have here. What happened was they got this whole idea of, well, if you lay everybody off at the end of the year, that means your overhead means you're spending less money and you look better for investors and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, what happens is that meant, okay, yeah, you look better because your overhead is lower because you're like, paying all these people. But what happened was, okay, everybody that you just laid off, they have to be either paid, based on their contracts, some sort of severance, some sort of ridiculous amount of money. But then when you have to rehire all those people in March, the Q1, the end of the Q1, what is that? Well, I don't know how this shit works. The point is, when they rehire everybody, okay, now you're spending more money re-educating, retraining, relocation, blah, blah, blah. There's so much money lost in that. And if you just keep these guys employed.
Well, that's like the EA thing that you always hear about people, working at big publishers like EA and stuff, and then the reports are coming up, so they lay off a bunch of people to make the reports nice, and then they hire them back on. But in the meantime, they just
rehire you. That's exactly what they do. When I was working there, when I was working at Mythic when EA took over, and EA was awesome. I don't have anything negative to say about EA, but it was kind of odd that once we had the layoffs hit, the first thing they did was they threw us all this like information packets on working at other studios that EA had. Like they're immediately trying to rehire everybody, which is good, but at the same time, it's like, well, why didn't you just kind of like plan this out where you say, hey, who wants to go here, and you work it out so that nobody's jobless.
But then they also throw the severance at you. But then they're going to hire you back, so you actually end up making a profit.
Yes, you're making more money. Like if you're working at a studio and you get laid off and you get a big severance and you're immediately moved somewhere else or you're hired somewhere else, it's basically like, oh, here's that bonus that you've been dreaming about getting your whole industry career. You never got a royalty check, but oh, look, here's severance. Here's a whole bunch of money. Now don't do nothing for a month or two. Or 6 months.
I think most people make more money off of severance than they ever will off bonuses or royalties.
Yeah, it's just it's like I said, it's when they started miseducating the economic people behind these decisions, then that's when all that stuff got silly. If you really think about it, if you really look at the long term of money, then you would understand that keeping people employed saves more money. Because you've got these regular guys, you've got people that know what to do, and you have people that work together well. They know the technology. You don't have to pay them a bunch of severance. You can throw a lot of simple projects at people during a downtime that they can release and possibly make a lot more money for your company, as opposed to just throwing them away and then rehiring a bunch of people later because you know it's going to happen. No, it's weird to say that's not right. What I'm saying isn't right for everybody in every situation, but
No, I
When you
do
really-
completely agree.
But when you really think about it economically, if you can keep people on your side and happy, paid, then you're going to save a lot more money than just throwing them away and bringing them back or moving them somewhere. And just,
Well, there's always these complaints about, oh, we haven't been able to develop this new IP or blah blah. Use those people, throw them into a skunk works, let them do that. If you're going to give them the money for severance anyway, give it to them as salary and let them come up with something cool.
That's exactly right. If you can pay some people, okay, here's this group of guys that are awesome, and we're going to give them this much severance money. Well, that's actually worth this much time just dicking around, coming up with crazy ideas. Like, what could be great game ideas? Just do that.
Or even just cool mechanics that you can throw in another game.
Yeah.
But it's usable. It's tangible and usable.
It's real, yeah.
Not just, here's money to do nothing.
Definitely a fair and valid point.
I completely agree. I just wish more companies would run more intelligently.
It's what happens when you get companies run by Nabisco executives and, people from the tampon industry or whatever.
That's the weirdest thing. People that don't really have experience in the industry don't really know how it works.
It's very specific.
I was coming up with something random, not related. Sorry.
But no, those
Nabisco tampons did not do well.
Nabisco tampons.
Way too salty.
Wait, do you guys prefer Cheez-Its or Cheese Nips? I'm just going there. What's better for you? Because me, I just pick one up and I don't know the difference, and I'm like, whatever. It's got salt on this side, so I lick it.
I love how you thought this out.
Yeah, I was like, how can I destroy both John and Chris at the same time?
Well done. Well done.
Personally, I always find nips far more interesting than zits, so I'm going to have to go with the cheesy nips.
Look, make sure when you say that you say cheese nips. Don't just say nips.
Well,
because that's an old school racial
They
slur.
both start with cheese. There's,
That's the joke. That's the joke. Not JPG.
Yeah.
The difference is
Tear it back.
the nips and the zits, not the cheese.
Nips and the zits.
So,
Yeah, these days people don't know. They're like, nips, that's nipples, right? And zits, that's growth. So you might be onto something there.
I missed my calling as marketing, apparently.
So what do you have? What kind of advice do you have for these youngsters today? I mean, like I said, me and you, we both got in the industry in 1997. I've been preaching my shit for like 60 hours of this fucking show so far. And actually, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying I've said my piece. I let people know, and I'm gonna keep letting them know in a humorous fashion and overly passionate. And you're pretty good at keeping it nice and CP. What do you got for these kids? What do they need to know for longevity?
Well, what's funny is that, like, the different times that I've been in on, like, college talks or whatever, and it's like, so-and-so from the industry is here to address blah, 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 the class and everything else. Whether it's me or other people who are in the industry, these things about what advice do you have for people entering the industry, they always devolve into, don't do it! Stay out of the industry!
Well, that's my number one advice that I've always gave is,
Save yourself.
if you want to get into this industry, don't.
Yeah.
It's the number one advice I give to people because it's very difficult. There's a high level of competition. It's like someone that says, I want to be a famous actor in Hollywood. Okay, how many actors can you really name? There's not a lot. It's the industry's a lot smaller than people think. It's definitely growing, and that's great. I want more studios to open, more people to get jobs. That's what I want. But you also have to be realistic about it. There is a limitation to how many people can really do this. It's not just, I can paint a good enough texture and make a good enough model and technically understand getting it into a game engine. But the real question is here, do you really want to deal with the fact that you're going to have to work a lot and it's gonna suck, and you're gonna make a bunch of shitty games.
Yeah, and I don't think...
And no one's gonna know who you are or care.
There's a lot of people who have to experience that before they get it. You know, that's the shame of it. But
I mean, I'm just one of those guys. I love making games. I do it in my spare time. It's just what I love doing. So I don't care about all that bullshit. If I'm getting paid, I'm happy.
I think right now is kind of a cool time for people to really get into it, though, because you've got so many different things going on as far as...
Yeah, right now is like a golden era.
I mean, you can do so much, and you can do things on your own, and
you could make a game by yourself right now, and it could become huge. It could explode on the iPhone, or even with like the Xbox Live. Like right now, there's the Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. It's very difficult to get on there, but it's plausible to get on there as like a single person development team if you make a strong enough product.
Actually, people are fleeing Xbox Live Arcade lately.
Well, fleeing, but yeah, but
in favor of PSN actually, because ever since the new dashboard design, it makes it incredibly hard to get featured. It's still feasible; it's just getting harder. But PSN it's a much better place to go.
It's very difficult to get on there. But the point is, on top of that is PC. Like right now, like everything goes in cycles. There's a wave where consoles come out. And when consoles initially come out, they're kind of like, here's this game, blah, blah, blah. But by the second and third generation of console games, the console is the top of the market. The console takes over. But by the fourth or fifth generation game, it starts sloping. And PC starts becoming the next big... Like, people start getting more into PC games before the next big console wave comes in. Now, right now, there was internet on Xbox, the first one, and PlayStation. You could connect and blah blah blah. Or PlayStation 2, sorry. But it didn't really hit till PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and with PC, the invent of Steam, allowing people to just say, hey, you don't have to go to a store and buy this box and get this manual. You're just digital. It's all digital. It's all virtual assets for the most part. It's not a real tangible thing. If an EMP goes off, if a solar flare that's like massive hit surf, it's all gone, folks. You got to really realize this, but it is gone. If a big solar flare hits, like NASA's predicted in 2013, it's all gone. So what you need to do is you need to print up all your art, folks, so people really know who you were back in the days, and you take pictures of it and say, look, this is 3D I did, and they're like, okay, you're all right. For when we get our tech back. It's going to happen. Be prepared. Now, all jokes aside, that was too smart to get over with these two. But the point is...
Dude, I'm just fucking exhausted.
I understand. The point is... Digital download. The next generation of consoles, that's where it's going. Everything's going digital. And you can get involved in that. And you could make a game. You could be the man. You could...
Well, you know, and they don't even have to get involved with that. I mean, you think about the guys at... Blurst. The guys that did, like, Off-Road Velociraptor Safari and, you know, the various games.
That
and they're
game
all
was hilarious.
Minotaur China Shop. They're all goofy Unity games, and they're all web-based, but they make a living off of them. And, you know, so you don't even have to worry about downloading them or putting them to a particular device, you know, an iOS device or an Android device or whatever. You can just do it through a web player and add the shit out of the page, and you're making money.
It always amazes me, like what Unity engine does. UNITY. People are able to like say, "Hey, look, here's my thing I'm doing," and you click on it, and it's just a link, and all of a sudden, you're like, boom, you're playing a game, or you're running around a scene, or it's just like you're looking at a character rotating, or that you can control rotation. It's like, wow, I really get the real time, the assets right here. To me, that's amazing. That's one of the best things ever.
Yeah, considering how complicated and out of reach that kind of shit used to be.
Yeah, it's
like year over year, everything's amazing and no one's happy.
Yeah, get happy, people.
On a related note, remember how I said my cat was just like using the hell out of the litter box?
The hell out of the litter box.
I think I know why. Apparently they got into dental floss.
Ooh, that's bad news. Hey, is that siren coming from Chicago?
Yes, it is.
Because John usually never gets any sirens.
No. That's right out there.
Well, what we determined on a previous episode was somebody said, "Oh, you hear sirens is a bad neighborhood." No. If you hear sirens, that's a good neighborhood because they actually come to the neighborhood.
That's actually an excellent point. Yeah, my neighborhood's okay, except for like this weird guy that's like beating the shit out of women for a little while, but he killed himself and that's over.
Oh, we've got sirens here right now. You can't hear them though because they just went by. I had my shit muted, so I didn't want to bother anybody.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you cut out for the last part.
Oh, sorry. What I was saying is there were sirens.
Sirens.
There were 3 women singing in the distance. There were sirens, and I heard them, and I wanted to go to them. But I knew that they were just gonna kill me and take my soul, so I stopped.
Oh, Denver.
Because
Women.
I've been to Las Vegas, and I saw the new pirate show, which has the sirens versus the pirates. And the pirates, they have all the weapons, they're shooting cannons and stuff, but the girls, the sirens, they're just singing and they're winning. They win. They win by singing and seduction. So I knew not to jump out of my window 5 stories down to the ground and die. Because
your passenger to tie yourself and tie you to the seat.
Yeah, I was very fortunate that my shipmate here tied me down.
It's a good thing your apartment has a mast.
Yeah, we had a mast.
This has just gone into a weird area.
Debilitated into some garbage. So if you guys want to wrap it up, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm super exhausted.
Yeah, like you said, you're getting tired. Yeah.
And oh my god, yeah, it's been like 2 hours. Holy crap!
It's been
Time flies.
just
Hour and a half.
we're just breaking the 90-minute mark on the
Yeah, hour and a half.
CrunchCast.
Still.
That's short for what we've been doing lately.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it just happens.
Well, I'm surprised since we've been talking about alcohol and cat poop and frozen tundras and that sort of thing. So it's
Chris, how are you going to title this one?
I think I'll call it
Freelance Life and
freelancing with Chris Johnson.
CrunchCast 31. What the hell?
Oh, they've gotten weirder.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Oh, I'm sure.
You'd know if you watched them.
So yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. I am Chris Holden DEV, which is like Chris Holden Dev because I'm a developer, and Chris Holden was already taken because that's a very common name apparently. Obviously, John Jones is at John Jones on Twitter. Christopher Johnson, do you have a Twitter?
Yes, I do. It's
He does.
at Christopher Johnson, except the Christ part of Christopher is just an X.
Oh, Xtopher.
Exifer Johnson.
Well, what I'll
Zopher.
do is I'll look that up and I'll
Zopher,
put it in the
that
YouTube
works.
links.
It's
Yeah.
like Zopher, like gopher, but with an X.
Yeah.
Or like Xmas, but with an O for Johnson.
Perfect explanation. Everybody's going to understand that and get it. So yeah, follow us on Twitter. John's the master of Twitter. He has like thousands of followers. I'm really close to 200. I'm going to break it. I'm going to make it happen.
Make it happen, people.
It's up to you. If you're the 200th follower, you don't win anything. I don't have anything. I have nothing to give. We'll give a shout out on the show. That's huge, right?
Yes.
Nice.
We get what, like 25,000 hits a week now? Or is that per day?
Just short. Like our total hits per week is just short of 1 billion right now. It's probably the biggest show on the internet. Like, you just don't understand. Like, you just see YouTube, it doesn't count.
Now, obviously, you're rounding to the nearest billion.
Or rounding to the nearest billion. Because we look at the universe as, we're one whole. And these numbers don't matter. Because The only people that are listening are game developers and hobbyists. So if you're not into making games, then you don't care about this show. And that's great.
The numbers don't matter. Whose podcast is it anyway?
I don't know. So yeah, you can subscribe on YouTube. You can check us on Vimeo. Listen to the MP3s. Thank you, Chris Johnson, a long-term industry veteran, for joining the show about his brief talk of animations and his
Thank you for having
amazing
me.
discussions about.
I hope next time I can actually be useful.
Oh, come on, shucks.
No, we got some dark, real shit, dude.
It got real. For those that don't know, it got real. And yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Come back next week when everything will be better.